God says, there is someone in your life who speaks your name with tenderness on their lips, but carries deception behind their smile. And though your heart has long suspected the truth, you've silenced your intuition in the name of love, loyalty, and hope, hoping they would change, hoping you were wrong, hoping that the version of them you saw in your dreams would one day emerge into the light. But child, heaven sees what your eyes cannot yet fully accept. And today God is lifting the veil not to punish you, but to protect you from the spiritual poison that has been draining your soul quietly, drop by drop. Every time you trusted what was never trustworthy, every time you forgave without repentance, every time you gave your energy to someone who studied your softness only to weaponize it. This person, whose presence you have defended even to your own detriment, has been playing two roles. One for you and one when you're not looking, and the ache you felt deep in your spirit, that invisible discomfort, that divine dissonance, that lingering uncertainty after conversations that feel emotionally hollow yet cleverly disguised as intimacy. It has not been your imagination. It has been your soul responding to the disconnection between what is being said and what is truly felt. God says, I am the discerner of hearts, and while they may use holy words and spiritual language to mask their motives, I see it all. I hear the thoughts they never speak. I see the bitterness they bury. Under flattery, I see the envy behind their praise. I see the fear they have that you will one day see your worth fully and no longer tolerate the shallow performance they offer in place of real love. And that fear is justified because I, the Lord your God, am removing the blindfold they have so carefully tied around your eyes. And I am doing it not to shame you, but to free you, because you were not created to beg for crumbs of affection from someone who only gives when it benefits them, who only stays close when they can control the narrative, who clings to you not out of divine love, but out of selfish attachment and fear of losing the light you carry. Archangel Michael has been circling your spirit, preparing you for this truth, whispering it in your dreams, showing you glimpses through divine signs, repeating the same strange feelings until you could no longer dismiss the evidence building in the quiet. Because God will always speak once, then twice, then 100 times through. People, through numbers, through moments of silence that scream louder than words, until finally your spirit aligns with the truth it's been holding for so long. That this person you love may be near in body, but they are far in heart, and their intentions, though carefully hidden, have never fully matched the purity of yours. Heaven says, stop shrinking your discernment to fit someone else's comfort. Stop calling confusion loyalty. Stop excusing patterns that are incompatible with divine love. Because if you continue to give your sacred energy to someone whose spirit is disconnected from your purpose, you are not only delaying your destiny, you are entangling yourself in a spiritual web that will leave you drained, doubting, and delayed from the joy that is already assigned to your future. Child, God is not revealing this to break your heart. He is revealing this to break the cycle. And yes, it will hurt to admit that someone you prayed for is not truly with you. But would you rather live in a lie that feels warm, or walk in a truth that will set you free forever? This is not about revenge. This is about restoration. This is not about hate. This is about healing. This is not about exposure. This is about elevation. God is about to remove the mask they wear, not so you will become bitter, but so you will finally become better. So you will stop pouring into a broken cup and begin preparing yourself for the divine connections that will honor, protect, and water your soul the way heaven always intended. And when the truth fully reveals itself, it won't be through drama or chaos. It will come through peace. A sudden knowing, a shift in your spirit, a moment when everything finally makes sense. Stay close, child, because God is just beginning to reveal what's been hidden. And when all is exposed, your spirit will rise from the ashes of deception stronger, wiser, and freer than it has ever been. God says, I did not anoint you for false comfort. I did not breathe divine breath into your lungs, so you would be manipulated by those who know how to mimic love, but not embody it. And I did not place this level of spiritual awareness inside you for you to keep ignoring the alarm bells that ring behind their every carefully chosen word. Because I, the Lord your God, have been watching as your soul has contorted itself into silence, into second guessing, into self-blame, all because someone close to you has mastered the art of keeping you emotionally tethered while never actually showing up in the ways that matter most. And though you've questioned yourself again and again, wondering if maybe you're the problem, wondering if maybe you're too sensitive, too reactive, too demanding, heaven wants you to know that those thoughts were not born from divine truth. They were seeded by the subtle gaslighting of someone who fears your clarity, someone who thrives when you're uncertain, someone who hides behind selective vulnerability to keep you hooked on the idea of connection without ever offering the real substance your spirit aches for. Archangel Michael is standing with his sword drawn beside you even now, commanding away every energy, every influence, and every relationship that carries the illusion of light but hides the agenda of control. Because the time for pretending is over, and the hour of divine exposure has arrived. Your spirit is too important, your mission too sacred, your calling too vast to remain tangled in this dance of confusion any longer. And though this person may claim to love you, God says, love that needs to be questioned constantly is not love. Love that requires you to abandon your own peace to maintain it is not love. Love that thrives only when you are weak and uncertain is not love. It is a performance, a manipulation, a contract forged in fear rather than truth. And it will never carry you into the promise I have placed on your life. Child, I know it hurts. I know there's a part of you still holding on to the good moments, still hoping that the person you saw in glimpses might become the person they consistently are. But you must understand, the person they pretended to be in the beginning was not real. It was a reflection of what they knew you wanted, what they studied in your spirit, what they learned to mirror from your genuine goodness. And the moment they sensed that you were spiritually loyal, they stopped trying because they believed you would never walk away. But what they didn't count on was the awakening I've been quietly stirring in your soul, the rising strength that's been building in the silence, the fire I've been fanning in your heart every time you cried yourself to sleep asking me if this was all you deserved. No, child, this is not all you deserve. And no, this is not the kind of love I ordained for you. I created you for soul-deep connections, for spirit-led intimacy, for relationships where you are seen, heard, and honored. And this person, despite all their charm and emotional camouflage, has never fully met you where your spirit lives. They've loved you in ways that were convenient for them. They've showed up when it benefited them. And they've retreated when the reflection of your authenticity exposed the hollowness of their own. Heaven says the pretending is coming to an end now. Not because you will force a confrontation, but because I, your God, will begin to allow the truth to collapse the lie on its own. Through circumstances, through missteps, through divine timing that can no longer be ignored. And though it may feel like a betrayal to finally admit what your soul has known for so long, I promise you, on the other side of this ending is a beginning so holy, so soul-filling, so healing that you will look back and thank me for the delay, for the detour, for the divine dismantling of what was never meant to last. I will not leave you empty-handed. I will not call you to release something unless I am already preparing to place something greater in your path. And as you begin to let go, you will feel your clarity return, your joy return, your inner power return, because the weight of someone else's hidden motives will no longer rest on your heart, and you will walk lighter, speak freer, and love more truthfully than you ever believed possible. Heaven is on your side, and what's being revealed now isn't cruelty. It's mercy, because I love you too much to let. You keep dancing with someone who only moves to the rhythm of manipulation while calling it love. This is your moment of awakening, and once you see the truth fully, you will never return to the darkness again. There comes a moment in every chosen soul's journey when God no longer allows deception to sit quietly beside you, when the weight of the falsehood becomes too heavy for your divine assignment to carry. And that moment, beloved, is now, because the person you've kept close, the one whose words sounded sweet but whose actions left your spirit starving, is being unmasked by the very light you've been cultivating through your obedience, your prayers, your spiritual discipline, and your unwillingness to give up even when your heart was breaking in silence. God says, I have watched you suffer through confusion. I have seen the way you've doubted your own discernment, how you've twisted your intuition into knots trying to excuse their distance, their contradictions, their half-truths wrapped in soft tones. But now I am breaking the illusion, not to hurt you, but to free you, because the person in question has been using your love as a ladder, climbing toward their own comfort, their own validation, their own self-image, while keeping your heart locked in a room with no windows. And heaven has seen every moment when they withheld support just to make you chase it, every time they left you wondering whether you mattered, every subtle shift in their voice when you spoke your truth, and every manipulative silence they weaponized when they wanted to punish your honesty. And though they may never admit it, I am the God of truth, and I declare that the pretending cannot. Continue in the presence of your purpose. Child, you were not born to beg for understanding. You were not created to be a side story in someone else's self-centered narrative, and I did not place my spirit inside you so you could spend your days decoding emotional games from someone who knows how to say I love you without showing it in actions, because love that is real shows up. It does not hide when it's inconvenient. It does not shift when you begin to heal. It does not shrink away when you step into your power, and it certainly does not wear a mask when the truth is needed most. Archangel Michael stands guard over your soul now, releasing you from every soul tie forged through false emotional intimacy, cutting every energetic cord that formed not from destiny, but from dependence. And he is whispering even now, the lies are crumbling. The light is overtaking the shadows. And what you suspected in your spirit is being confirmed in the heavens. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. You are not asking for too much. You are waking up, and the pain you feel is not proof of weakness. It is proof of awareness, the divine ache that comes before liberation, the tension in your chest that says you're no longer able to live under the weight of what's not real. God is saying, I'm turning the lights on in the rooms you tried to ignore. I am dragging the truth out from under the bed of denial, and I am sitting it before you, not to shame you, but to empower you. Because when you stop pretending, you start healing, and when you stop settling, you start rising. The one who claimed to love you but fed off your confusion did so, because they knew that as long as you questioned yourself, you wouldn't question them. And now that you're beginning to see clearly, their grip is slipping, their influence is breaking, and their ability to disguise their fear as affection is dissolving under the intensity of your divine light. Heaven has not abandoned you in this awakening. In fact, heaven is cheering for you. The angels are rejoicing, because when you choose truth over illusion, even when it hurts, even when it shatters the image you wanted to believe in, you are aligning yourself with your real destiny, the one that doesn't require shrinking, the one that doesn't involve negotiating your worth, the one that doesn't force you to wear emotional armor just to be around someone who claims to care. And I, the Lord your God, am proud of you for even daring to feel this deeply, for holding on to love even when it felt like a battlefield. And now, I promise you, what I am removing is not a punishment, it is protection, because what waits ahead for you is a love that will not confuse you, a connection that will not drain you, a companionship that will not require constant survival mode. And in the very places you once cried out for clarity, I will plant peace so deep that even your past cannot reach to disturb it. Stay with me. Child, do not look back in longing. Look ahead in holy expectation, because what I'm revealing is not the end of your love story. It is the beginning of the one that will finally make your soul exhale. And now, beloved, comes the most sacred part of this revelation, the part where heaven does not simply expose the truth, but lovingly walks with you into the healing that must follow, because God says, I did not show you the truth to leave you empty. I showed you the truth to finally make room for the fullness I've been preparing behind the scenes. And I know your heart is tired. Tired from trying to hold together a version of love that was built on shaky ground. Tired from seeing glimpses of hope in someone who only ever gave you fragments. Tired from wondering why love felt more like a test than a place of safety. But now, child, I, the Lord, am gathering up every torn piece of your trust, and I am weaving it into something holy, something unshakable, something eternal. And though your tears have fallen in secret, your healing will be seen in the open. You must understand, heaven was never blind to the nights you waited for a message that never came, to the moments you forced a smile when their distance made your soul tremble, and to the way you twisted your light just to make yourself more digestible to someone who is only ever interested in dimming you. So when I remove them, when I allow the veil to fall, and you finally see their true heart for what it is, do not grieve the loss of what never truly loved you. Rejoice instead in the rescue I orchestrated in the silence of your suffering. Because I was protecting you even when you thought I was punishing you, I was. Preparing you even when you thought I had forgotten you. and I was breaking the counterfeit to make room for the covenant. Yes, the covenant love I have written into your future, a divine union that will recognize the God in you, not manipulate the wounds in you. So now the pretending ends, not just from them, but from you too, because you will no longer pretend to be okay with lukewarm love. You will no longer settle for being someone's convenience. You will no longer spiritualize mistreatment and call it loyalty, because I am lifting you into a season of clarity, and with clarity comes elevation, and with elevation comes separation. And though that separation may feel like loss at first, it is actually the proof that the ceiling you once called home is now the floor beneath your feet, because I am raising you up, child, not just in spirit, but in discernment, in confidence, in alignment with your divine worth. I want you to hear me now, louder than any lie that has ever made you feel unlovable. You are not hard to love. You were just loving someone whose heart was not aligned with heaven. And now that the truth is visible, you must choose what I'm offering. Not the version of love you begged for, but the one that was always meant for you, where you don't have to guess, where you don't have to shrink, where your gifts are celebrated, not tolerated, where your vulnerability is held, not exploited, where your soul is nourished, not drained. This is your turning point. You're holy. Reset, your divine invitation to stop repeating old patterns dressed in new people and finally accept the sacred truth that you deserve love that reflects me, not love that confuses you into doubting who you are. Because when I send someone, child, they will not come to take from you. They will come to build with you, to pray with you, to heal beside you, and they will speak the language of your destiny, not the manipulation of your fear. So do not look back for signs in someone I already removed. Do not wait for apology from someone whose spirit is not humble enough to repent. And do not water a garden in a soul that was never willing to plant seeds with you. Because what's coming next will make every tear worth it. Every delay makes sense. And every unanswered question become a testimony of how I spared you just in time. You were never hard to love. You were just hidden until the right one could find you in my timing. And I, the Lord your God, am proud of you for letting go. Even when your heart still wanted to hold on, because that is what faith looks like. It looks like walking away from what hurts, even when it once felt like home. It looks like trusting my voice over your own longing. It looks like closing the chapter not because you got closure, but because you finally realize that peace is better than pretending, and truth, no matter how painful, is the most powerful kind of love I can give you. So walk away with your head high, child, because you're not losing a person. You're gaining your freedom, your peace, your identity, your destiny, and the divine love I promised you all along is already on the way.